Hello, and welcome into another session of Tony Talks Trash About Music. Today, we're going to be counting down my 10 favorite Julian Cope records. Julian Cope, as you know, was in a band, The Teardrops Explodes, was part of the early Liverpool scene. Eric's was high level connected then, and it was kind of really thought of an eccentric. They famously went on the Top of the Pops and dropped psychedelics on there and made kind of a mess there. But Julian seemed to escape it. He transitioned into a solo career, which largely traded off a lot of the good songs that he had done then. But they started to, if you hear some of the end of the Teardrop Explode stuff, and I'm not including the Teardrop stuff here, that'll be a separate issue if we do one. But the Teardrops, at the end, kind of migrated to this. They had a couple of different strange formations with the band, with different personnel that was kind of odd. He and a couple guys ran headlong into each other, and it's because of that. Then we're lucky enough to have those great records from Julian, and today I am going to count down my top 10 records of this. Now, he's made a lot of records, and he makes them up to this day. And my whole take on him, at least as far as from what I enjoy, there was a period of time where I thought he pretty much could do no wrong, and that was the end of the 80s, the beginning of the 90s. There were a number. So you're going to see probably most of my selections from there. I only really have one on here that I know that I don't have on vinyl of my top 10, and that's because I don't know. I've never seen it around here in the States. I know I know it exists somewhere, but we'll talk about that. But some of the other ones that I like, I mean, I do like some of the ones on Head Heritage. If you go to Head Heritage, that's kind of a tongue twister. If you go to his Head Heritage, Julian Cope's Head Heritage site, you'll see a lot of stuff. There's a lot of features there that are interesting, lead you to other music, lead you to other sources about his books, and we've talked about Krautrock Sampler and Jap Rock Sampler on here, and of course, then he did his records or his books regarding the stone formations in England, and really fantastic treatise there. The Modern Antiquarian is a beautiful book. I recommend anybody interested in that to get it. It really was a lot of work, and he put a lot into it. And there's great videos on all these things, and that's a good thing about Julian. Julian's been kind of a person of the video age. Now, after a period of time, like there was a period of time, I believe, where things kind of went off the rails, and I think things were kind of, he was kind of angry, and I think this probably happened around 2003, 2005, after he had those festivals in London. His stuff became a little more, angry based. He's showing up with the leather and the biker stuff and the beards, and that's a period of time. Really, I think things started to improve somewhat. I like drunken songs, okay, and I think from that period on, you know. Revolutionary Suicide's decent record too. I love Self Civil War. Some of the new ones that have come out, I think show a promise to get back to some of the sound. I think for a while, I don't know. I just didn't like the angle. A lot of it was acoustic guitar beaten hard things, and records like Black Sheep and You Got a Problem with Me. Not a big fan of those. Citizen Kane either. Citizen Kane really was not for me. Psychedelic Revolution, good record. Drunken Songs. I mean, Robin Hood, really nice, as I said. But these are my top 10, and you're going to see these are going to probably go from most of the period of time that's thought of to be, what are the people that know him. But there are a lot of people that may not have heard his solo work, and I would really go, so the upper end of this, I would really recommend people to go, because I think it's an underrated and underappreciated modern psychedelic good thing. Sorry if my hair's all screwed up, man, but anyway, that's some crazy work, and it continues. I'm trying to find a couple minutes here to do a couple things here. But let me tell you, we got at number 10, the one that's probably had the biggest hits. I mean, if you're looking about this, Trampoline, World Shut Your Mouth. The song World Shut Your Mouth. But it's on Saint Julian. And if you look at this, this is good from top to toe. I mean, I used to hear this at the club in D.C. we used to go to on M Street all the time down there. Posers, it's fantastic, right across the Roslyn Bridge there. World Shut Your Mouth, Trampoline, East Volcano, Shot Down, all shot down, kind of a shuffling, fast-paced thing. East Volcano, a little slower, delicate. They made singles of that. Trampoline, though, was a fun one. I remember him climbing up on that. He had that mic stand where he had a couple places he could put his feet and like climb up, up on it. I remember that too. St. Julian of Cross is a bigger Space Hopper, Pulsar. Screaming Secrets in a Crack in the Clouds, a little more psychedelic in those. Those are the ones, the reason why it's a little bit lower for me. Planet Ride's okay. Eve's Volcano's okay. I really like Trampoline a lot. World Shut Your Mouth, of course, is a great single. St. Julian's really good. Pulsar, Space Hopper. Yeah. This is a good record. This is why it's top 10. And this is a copy that I got. It's on Island. I think it's his first one on Island. This is, I think, the beginning of the fun. We have the lyric sheet and stuff. Yes, it's on a black island here, and it's got the lyric sheet, and I shouldn't have it in this folder, should I? I should be having it. I should protect it more. You're correct, and that's a good thing about doing this. I get to do that on these. For number 9, let's talk about the album called World Shut Your Mouth, which is not the song World Shut Your Mouth. This is his first solo record. You can see the flags there. He's got all the different flags in the world, and this is right when he came out of the Teardrops. Greatness and Imperfections, Collie Kibber's Birthday, Bandy's First Jump, Elegant Chaos, nice song. Sunshine Playroom, there was a nice single of that. Had Pussy Face is a big one. Quizmaster, Head Hung Low. So this is kind of pointing towards what, the sound of this early stuff, which I think peaked with another record, which we'll talk about later. But this is kind of lending that way. You've got really a 3-piece here. He took Gary Dwyer from the Teardrops, and Stephen Lavelle on lead guitar, and then he had some other people. He had an oboe player on here, and it's all through some of the early stuff. It's interesting. Kate St. John's there. Julian played some piano. There's a sitar here. So there's trying to get the edge here. But this is a Stephen Lavelle production, 1984 phonogram. Really a strong record. If you don't know about it, you should know about it. It's good. And mine, believe it or not, this is not mine on. It's Polygram, but mine's actually on Vertigo. So but they didn't have the cool label at that time. They had to. We're in the 80s, so I guess it's a different time. Let's go on now to something that shook it up, man. Let's go on to like number 8 from 1990. And there were 2 records in 1990, and I don't really remember personally which one came first. But these records were released, and they revealed to everybody an intent that I'm going to do what the hell I want to do, and I'm not going to be bound down by the constraints of the record company. And so Mofo on Zippo, 1990, we have Droolian, the first of 2 semi-bizarre records that said, look, listen, I've got my label stuff I'm putting out, but I'm going to do my own stuff here too. Squubsy, it's all about the anti-poll tax. The big thing they had, Unisex Cathedral coming down. The very first version of Safe Surfer is on here. You see the back there a second. It's kind of arrogant. Mona Lisa says, you got a match? Yeah, I said, yeah, your face and my art. It's kind of arrogant. But arrogance is kind of part of what he does. Gentlemen do Atonement of Wasp, love it. Jelly Pop, Perky Gina, nice keyboard. Electronic keyboard, rhythm machine, really just sounds like somebody turned on a Casio and he's playing. When Will I Get to Hold You's nice. Louis the 14th. The Safe Server, yeah. This is an FU kind of to everything, and when it came out, it hit like that. We've got some nice, beautiful inside cover with this that you get in the original, and this is just a different thing. It's just a different thing, and you've got it on Mofo. Really, just a plain white label, no record company affiliation. I always suspected there's something going on. I guess you can see this as the first of the Head Heritage stuff that would come later in CD releases when he was doing it himself. But this stuff called Zippo and some of these other things you'll see, we're certainly curious. And that sound then got folded in at that point. At that point, after these were successful, more or less, Julian goes to the record company. The record company says, "Yeah, this works." So they fold it in, and that's what happens. This I'm going to get you to one of the later ones in the period of what I consider to be the hot period here, and this is 1995's 20 Mothers. And if you look on front of the album cover, it's 20 mothers there, sitting there, standing there in the block. And in the back, there's the dude, the archdruid, as they call him. Great stuff on here. I think a Wheelbarrow Man's got like an electronic thing, wind up thing that sounds good. It's got a drum machine sound to it. I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud though. I think it's pretty good. It's got a nice. It sounds like you're walking really through some imaginary cartoon, and the melody. And it could be because of a later song here in it later, but it's almost like you're walking through Sherwood Forest. I mean, that's what you feel like. A lot of this is fantasy, like Wandered Lonely as a Crowd. Try was a single, kind of a nice rock thing. Stone Circles and You, a little bit stoned sound with an oscillating, like a teapot oscillating thing happening there. Queen Mother, I'm Your Daddy. The first side not the last two not quite as much. Queen Mother's this loud soft thing, probably about, they said something about Courtney Love. I'm not sure if it's about that or not. But then side two, I think side two is really interesting. Highway to the Sun, rock song, psychedelic song, 1995, cool. By the light of silvery moon gets a little psychedelic, and he comes in and starts raving with the vocals in the rhythmic stuff where he's kind of semi words, semi not words. I like a lot of that song. Adam and Eve hit the road, but just like Pooh Bear at number 11 is a complete diversion into electronic dance music. And you'll see on here that this record is, by this time he was hooked up to Thigh Sandra. And synthesizers and piano. Moon Eye and Rooster had been with him for a long time, and it's Julian. That's really the band that you have with this. I love the second record better. This is a 2-record set. Phase 3. It's one of those long records in the CD age, of course. Girl Call, fantastic. Greed Head Detectors. Not you. It's silly, but it's great. It's a Don't Take Roots. Dun, 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 dun. This third side really has a lot of bravado, a lot of sweeping. It's got a nice mid tempo with the mellotron sounds. Like the keyboards are really good. Thigh Sandra really hits it with this. And then you've got See Now Get, which is one of the only songs you'll ever hear where somebody's telling somebody who's gotten too old to function, get out of here. And it's harsh. It's a harsh thing. This is, of course, a gatefold record, and I'll show you the big inside picture, which is really neat. Julian and the whole gang that was there for this. You see this? It's kind of nice. But anyway, side 4, Crying Baby, Sleepless Nights. Laley B is named after his wife's mother, but beautiful, one of the most beautiful instrumentals that he's ever done. Road of Dreams is okay. When I Walk Through the Land of Fear kind of ends it on a paranoid note. But Lonely Guy ends in side 3. But I'm telling you, side 3 in this is really, really good. And you notice on this, it includes the hit, Try. Well, I don't know what you mean by hit, but it's interesting. Interesting record. Love it on vinyl. Happy to have it on vinyl. Good thing. Let's move on to number 6, which I do not have on vinyl, which is an album from 1994, Interpreter. Now, it's funny. My wife's mother used to love this. This is one of her favorite things her favorite songs that Julian did was the single from this called Planetary Sit-In, which to me is I think's very, very funny thing. It also has probably the best closer of really any any album that Julian ever did. I'm sorry if I'm distracted here. I fell off the page here, but but anyway, Dust. I think Dust. The vocals, the way it's so controlled. It just sounds really sheen. This album has a sheen to it. The cover of it, as you see, is projected here. It's got these pillar mountain shaped things with this beautiful thing. Interpreter was kind of what I think it may have been based on the Rocky Erickson thing of the same era, but Thighpaw Sandra again. Very much extending the sound of 20 Mothers. The song that I like here, Arthur Drugstore is kind of good. Cheap New Age Fix is good. Since I Lost My Head is all right. I got my TVs and my pills, but I Come From Another Planet, Baby. That was another favorite of my mother-in-law's. She really liked this record. But anyway, Dust was good. Planetary Sit-In is the song I was speaking of. That was the single. Space Rock with Me's got this operatic thing. It's kind of silly. But anyway, I love the record. I think it's really important. And so we're going to put it at number 6. Going to number 5 comes the aforementioned second record I was talking about. And for all of you who love album covers, this is going to be something a little bit different. Fried. The record's called Fried, and he's got a tortoise shell. That's right. This is somebody in their own little place here. And despite this looking bizarre as it does, it's a very comforting music. He's a toy fan too. He's got his what do you call Dinky toys or something. The inside's got some decent shots. Got the shot of the aforementioned Dinky toy, and then it's got the shot of Julian there. Raynard the Fox, run, 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 yeah, run, run, run. Big one. Bill Drummond said, of course, nice acoustic song, beautiful. Laughing Boy, same thing. You start to get the echoes now. Me singing. Sunspots was a big single. Sunspots, actually, I think they put an EP out. I had it at one time, had some interesting stuff on it. The second side, Search Party's really kind of your peak slow, chaotic, about this tempo on really like you're out looking for somebody frustratingly. Holy Love, nice single. Torpedo, way to end. It doesn't quite end as bad, but the first side here, it's so different, and it just has a vibe. This record from top to bottom has a vibe to it. Another Stephen Lavelle production, but really more down the hole. You're adding Chris Whitten on drums here, and Chris Whitten was the one that drove that. He actually played McCartney's band later in the early incarnations of McCartney's band before Blair. I can't remember the guy's last name, but the current drummer who's still there was with Off the Ground and stuff. But Chris Whitten was there to start with, and Brother Jono electric guitar, Stephen Lavelle guitar, Donald Ross Skinner. So this is before this is the band, but again, this is really kind of where he's digging out his territory there. And there's not another record there. I mean, when you're talking about that, that's you want to go on an album cover like that. It's pretty much says commitment. Let's talk about one of the other ones in here, 1994. And when I'm talking about this, I guess what happened, it would be third. It'd be earlier in 1994 before Interpreter. And I'm talking about Autogeddon, Julian Cope's solo record, where he has it at a, looks like an SO, doesn't it? Looks like those old SO letters. Really kind of a spooky vibe on this record. This record adds a paranoid, spooky thing. You're talking about Don't Call Me Mark Chapman, because they deserve each other. Kind of challenging lyrics. I'm not crazy about all the lyrics. Mad Max is good. I Gotta Walk is funny, but Autogeddon Blues is really the one that he played. And I just saw he played it not a long time. But I'm a real fan of Ain't No Getting Round. It has a line in it that says, like a pig drawing a cart of sausages, you draw your own conclusions. I thought that was pretty clever. I never heard of something like that before in the lyrics. I mean, he's talking about you have to get places, so you're going to pollute, and that's what Autogeddon is about. Using the car is a bad thing. Star Car is a beautiful instrumental. Ain't but the one way is a nice swinging swinging funky thing. Really, it's got a nice sway to it, and I like it. Paranormal in the West Country, ironically, was one of the ones that was highlighted. But for me, it's not my thing. It's that acoustic little campfire, let's go walking and protest thing that I'm not. To me, doesn't make the greatest music for him. But here's some of the pictures. You see, he's got a shaved head here. It looks like he's going in some of these cave places and natural places. He's talking about the main burial chambers of this in here of West Kennet Longbarrow. Interesting. But anyway, that is Autogeddon, and Autogeddon has some really, really spectacular songs, and I would rank it highly. As I say, I do. I rank it at number 4. And I guess when you're talking about stars, let's talk stars. I'd put Autogeddon at about 4. I'd put Fried at 4, Interpreter at 4, 20 Mothers at 4, Droolian at 4. See, they're all the same. World Shut Your Mouth, 3.5 maybe. St. Julian, 3.5. Okay, that's kind of the break. Let's go to 4.5 now with Skellington. This one was even more bleak than the aforementioned Droolian. These were released, as I said, as a pair of flip out records in 1998. This was 1998. The other one was, it wasn't 1998. It's 1990, man. They're both 1990. What am I talking about? It's right here. It's on Copeco. It says it's actually Copeco 1989. So what the hell am I going to say? Everything possible. 89. I knew they were about the same time. They came into the stores very, very close together. Beaver, fantastic. Me and Jimmy Jones, Robert Mitchum, and then you've got the song "Hing Dun Hing Dun Dun" Out of My Mind on Dope and Speed, which is another kind of goes into Safe Surfer as just wild man, caveman, wild rock type of an attitude towards things. Don't Crash here is a nice acoustic. It's got some acoustic stuff here. Everything Planet Wants is good. Little Donkey, Great White Wonder. This is really a record where I think he performs a lot vocally against a pretty simple sometimes background with this stuff. I mean, it looks to me like you've got Don Russ Skinner, Rooster Crosby on drums. Double to Harrison looks like organ and piano, so I guess acoustic guitar and vocals. I don't really see a bass on here. I don't know that they had a bass on this record, which is kind of strange. Coming Soon, No How, No Way, No Why, No Where. Kind of a nice, he overdubs the harmonies there, whispers and goes out. Yeah, this one is even more intimate, and this album is made. There's not much question. This album is made to be intimate. To you, to be important. Another plain label here, Julian Cope on one side on this. But he was doing it to put his stuff out. But I just, when I see that no how, no why, no way, I used to love that. I remember riding around in my car. I listened to that for a long, long time. That was one that kind of let us know, something's coming. It says 1990. It's funny. It said Skellington 1990 in the deal, but the record says 1998. So there's why I said both. And here we go. We're ready for the last two. What are they? It's going to be 1991. In 1991, a record came out that shattered it all, following these two aforementioned Skellington and Droolian, and I'm talking about Peggy suicide. We're talking about Mother Earth. We're talking about the death of Mother Earth and the anti-poll tax squubsy in the back here, the photo that they talked about, and some of the other stuff. And you've got him meeting and shaking hands here. And we've got so many curiosities. There's so many singles and stuff put out. Like I've got the Barbie thing. It's kind of smashed. I had the Barbie and Ken 445 version of Squubsy. I used to like all those songs, and he had a number of songs. And he had a propensity to like have these songs and just put them out when they never decided what the vocals were. Really, really strange. But let's go down here. You've got Pristine. It's Double Vegetation. East Easy Rider. Definitely Manchester influence. Hanging Out and Hung Up on the Line. Kind of a pounding. Kind of a pounding, urgent raw thing. Safe Surfer. There's your version, the second version of it. Really psychedelic and fading in. If You Love Me and I'll Drive, she said, was straightforward. I remember seeing this at the 930 Club, and I remember standing beside Rich and stuff, and they were trying to get into it. We tried to get a crowd into it. It was a decent crowd. It wasn't a huge crowd, but it was decent. I wanted to see him after that, but his touring was limited pretty much overseas. Soldier Blue, I love you. Use one of these is written by Ian McCullough, maybe that one. Not raving, but drowning. Nice funky slow thing. Head is just a great song. Nice funky clavinet song. Leopard Skin. There's some of these that fit in the same place, like ECC Riser, Head. Where's one? Double Vegetation probably too. American Light is great. Next to last song on the record. Western Front, Hung Up and Hanging Out to Dry, kind of a reprise of the first deal. Las Vegas Basement kind of out quietly, but yeah, this record shook it up, and it would be number one. I would consider it a 5-star acquisition for anybody. If there's anything wrong with it, it may be a song or too long. But you've got so many great songs there, so much a great concept. The band just hitting it on all fronts. I don't know if they list the band here on this time. I know Donald Ross Skinner was involved. I saw this band. I think it was the same band they had before with Rooster. Rooster Crosby had replaced Chris Whitten by that time. Don I was in it. Donald Skinner, of course, and a guy named J.D. Hassinger also played drums too. So, but it's mostly those three. So, and it was really something. And that leaves us with the last one. We're going out now with 1992's Jehovahkill. This is, how do I say it? The peak of what happened, what I'm talking about right before this, and the beginning of the gloom, kind of the sweet spot to hit as far as I'm concerned. I think the songs here and the confidence and the lyrics and some of these things that went. But you see the end. That'll be the deicide. That is from Poet is Priest, the song Poet is Priest. Let's get through it. There's only 3 phases with this. Well, we have 3 sides here, and I don't know if I may have an etched disc on the last side. Do I? Yes, I do. I hate this shit. It's going to warp the side. Look at it. It's a 3-sided disc. I forgot about that, and that sucks. But anyway, let's go over them. Let's talk about them. Something else, man. It says it includes a booklet, and I don't have the booklet here. I don't know what happened. Maybe I didn't get one with the booklet. Talk about Soul Desert, a nice, beautiful song. Me and I'll just watch you, 'cause being is just too hard for me. Beautiful. No Hard Shoulder to Cry On has a nice fading it, then beautiful fading in of some keyboards. Akhenaten, great instrumental. Mystery Trend has a nice backbeat. There's a number of songs like that. They were really good. And then you've got upwards of frantic acoustic song, upwards at 45 degrees, where you get the nice bass thing going on. I know Cut My Friend Down, great. Necropolis, another great instrumental. Run for It. Slow Rider is good. Give Me Back My Flag, really psychedelic. A slow, like drumless interrupted signal thing. In the island, oh man, this will put you somewhere. And then Poet is Priest is kind of a wash of an instrumental thing. Beautiful stuff here. Julian H. Cope, of course, has a great. He has. It's a self lauding song, but kind of self taking the piss too. Fine. Fear Loves This Place, the Tower, just fantastic. You've got all these songs. It's another Donald Ross Skinner production. Him, Rooster Crosby too. The same folks they had before. Always with him. Julian seems to always be dependent on his little circle of people, at least during this period of time. Now I have no idea lately how he's done it, because a lot of his records, you know, the ones I've had lately have not had vinyl releases. Some of them not even, you couldn't even hardly find CDs. It's just out. Uh, but you know, these are to me are a completely different. This is a completely different era. I think this is special music. I think if anybody should hear this, you shouldn't be scared of the Jehovahkill name. It really doesn't have anything to do. Well, it may in his philosophy, but the freeness of it was very important. I think that there was actually a deluxe second edition. As I'm looking here, I wanted to go through here and find out, but it did actually get to number 20 on the UK charts, which surprises me. But you've got Rooster Crosby, and this is before really Thibault Sandra came into the scene. So you've got Hugo Nicholson, analog synthesizer, recording, mixing, and just something else, man. But this is a different record. This is a record you could tell he went deep in himself, and a lot of people love this record, and I happen to be one of them. So I think it's his most consistent record. I think it says the most, and for that reason, I think it's a 5-star. And I really think if anybody wants to uh, really poke their head into Julian Cope, I would suggest starting with Peggy Suicide, or if they want to get, you know, you can actually start with St. Julian too. Is really pop, but you want to get into the tough stuff. You want to get into Jehovahkill and Peggy Suicide, and of course Skellington, Autogeddon, Fried, any of those ones that I've said in the top. Thanks for bearing with me today. I appreciate it, and make sure you like this video if you do like it, and subscribe and leave your comments below, please, because we always appreciate your viewership. We really mean that. As bleary as we get sometimes, we do. Thank you, guys. Bye.